Alright, hi Last Cloudians, welcome to another Last Cloudia analysis video. This one is for Mama Rabbala, looking more in-depth at her kit, hoping to let you have a better idea of how you want to build her. There's one video I made previously on her first impression, and this is a follow-up video. She is a mage, or rather, I think she is. If you've not seen the video that Twex made on a physical DPS Rabbala, I left it also in the description down below. Check it out. Now, if you have enjoyed the content of this video, click on the big red subscribe button. That will really help me to get my videos out there for more people like yourself. Alright, let's jump right into it. All her physical damage scales off STR and Int, but it's not a 1:1 ratio. Most of them have a higher weightage on Int. I'm not certain about the actual ratios, apologize for that. And given that she is an Earth Element focused unit, all skills are of course Earth Element. Now her auto attack is 3 hits, neutral element. But take a look at that speed. One thing to take note is that her autos does not shoot through enemies. Hence you can target someone behind, but her attack will hit the very first unit it comes into contact with. That is one downside to it. Now skill 1, 9 SCT, 6 hits, and a max stock of 5 stocks. Quick burst of attacks that rises from the ground around her target, then knocks up and pushes back. Lasts a short time, but can be chained. Anywhere on the map can be casted. However, it is similar to her auto attack. She shoots a projectile, and the knockup activates the moment it hits the first enemy. You are able to chain hits and lock enemies by spamming S1. Now next we have her second skill, 18 SCT, 8 hits, max stocks of 3. AoE around her with a pretty high knockup. She can cast anywhere she wants, so there's no auto targeting involved, which is really good. Now skill 3, 34 SCT, 16 hits with a max stock of 2. Now she can target anyone on the map, and she sucks everything around her target in a moderate area into the center, knocking all of them up and dealing damage in the process. As you can see, this also does a pretty high knockup. There is a great skill that you can, as you can strategically target enemies to interrupt them and group them up together. So far out of the 4 lords, 3 of them have, for the lack of a better word, sucking skills. Okay, before this goes out of hand, let's move on. Right, chance of a minus 20 earth resist down is about 20% and lasts 20 seconds. Her ultimate has some mechanics there. Not only does it deal damage to all opponents for 28 hits, there is a chance of giving individual STR, Int, Defense and MND debuffs on enemies. Now the amount is estimated to be between 10 to 20% debuff. I'll say it's about 15% and lasts only 30 seconds. Now the debuff does not stack with other similar debuffs like Drain, Lostomia, Blazer and Nemesis. Now the chance part is tricky. The percentage chance per hit seems to be around 1.5%, so multiple debuffs can proc on the same unit. Now that's out of the way, a question comes into mind. Does awakening levels affect anything? Now this goes very technical. I'm not even sure you guys want to know about this point, right? Okay, but I'm still going to do it. Now the above percentage was tested with a 0 awakening. After getting her to awakening 2, I've noticed that there's a significant increase in the number of procs and also sometimes even multiple procs on the same unit. Now the number actually went up to around 2.2%. So by my estimation, at awakening 6, she might have that percentage increased to about 3.6%. So you should notice it being more consistent at later levels of awakening, which can make it slightly more consistent. However, you can't choose what debuffs you want on the enemy. That is still RNG. Now moving on to her traits. Trait 1 is pretty straightforward. You can put Mimicry Sorcerers on your units to achieve 3 Sorcerers on your team. So you will be able to get additional 15% earth damage and 3000 damage cap. So that will bump her damage cap to 10,000. Now trait 2, there is about a 1.35% chance to proc exsanguinate. Now this debuff lasts 40 seconds. Now there are people who have tested and gotten numbers closer to 2%, so I'm averaging it out to be about 1.5% proc rate per hit. Now there's a couple of things that this debuff does. One of it is it increases Rabbala's damage on the unit by 40% and has about a 5 to 6% chance to absorb 7% of the damage dealt as HP for herself. Now on top of that, it also causes the affected unit to lose 10% max HP every time it uses a skill. Now this number is fixed and has a max of 9999, and it can kill the unit. It'll be funny to see units die like that in Arena. Now okay, we are done with the traits. Now, extra weakness attack has a 10% proc rate and does a 100% extra hit when she's hitting with a killer/slayer or attribute weakness attack. Now slayers are one of the best forms of damage increase for DPS units, so it'll be a good addition to her damage. Divine Wind does a battle start -20 to all resist debuff on all enemies and gives allies a -35% thunder damage taken. Now both of these last 40 seconds for the both effects. Now Mind Pierce gives her magic attack about a 20 to 25% chance to halve the enemy's MND before dealing damage. Now I'm done. All the rest of her passives are pretty self-explanatory, so I'm gonna be moving on to the paid gears. Evoker's Helm, Malad, accessory, gives a good amount of 50 MP, which is a highlight. Now gives her resistance to illness, which she is naturally weak to. That's nice. The passive of 1k Earth Magic attack cap and auto protection. Now this passive I would say is more for PvE and is pretty decent if you look at it from that standpoint. Now given her 1k more damage cap would bring her cap from 7k plus 3k to from 3 other sorcerers in your team, that's 10k to 11k. Too bad magic hits can't be doubled by dual wielding, but nobody said she can't be a physical DPS. Now next we have Wraith Armor Nagal. Now she's one of the rare few mages who is able to wear armor type. Now decent defensive values and makes her nail to silence resistance. Passive gives her 10% more earth damage and has a MP regeneration effect. I would say that this is a very good additional choice for MP recovery. Right now we only have a couple of choices for MP recovery and the other two options are both Arc Eater rewards. So if you are lacking those options, this can come in really handy. Personally, I would not be running her as a pure mage in content like Tower, hence building her with armor is possible. Now both offer some forms of buffs to her. For the accessory it would be the huge amount of MP it gives, the damage cap, while for the armor durability and MP regen adds survivability options, and also the 10% earth damage increase also would allow her to come closer to dual wielding damage. Now speaking of that, it might be useful in Arena then. Now after going through all these, here are my closing thoughts. Now she is by far the best Earth Mage we have at this point. Couple her with big damage cap and resistance down capabilities, she secures a spot in all pure Earth teams. Her Xanguinate debuff is something interesting as it makes her, really unique although she is locked to Earth damage. She has a heal and multiple debuff spells on her, which provides flexibility in her builds. Arena might be interesting for her. So far I don't know if she'll do how she'll do, but I do see some potential over there. Given her fast auto attacks, almost instant skills, battle start resistance down and thunder buff to counter raise, she might be a handful to deal with. What bothers me with mages now, and similar with for her, is she doesn't seem to be particularly tanky to survive in the meta right now. However, her skills might make a difference in covering up for that weakness. Do leave in the comment section down below, how you find her in Arena. Now lastly, about her as a physical DPS, I do see a potential there. However, there's a lot of skills missing in that department for me. Don't get me wrong, she's still able to do good DPS, but that's gonna depend on a lot of her total SC. I mean, she has so little things in her kit that buffs physical DPS, so Do it only if you have really high SC for her. You know, the more, the better. Alright, this is it for my Rabbala analysis. Hope you have liked the content. Subscribe if you did. And I thank those who did from my last video. Now stay safe. See you all in the next one. Xez here, signing out.